Pastor Tony, thanks for joining us. You have pushed back against the president's plans for a nationwide raid. A few weeks ago, he responded. What is happening this time?
Well, we're in the same situation that we were 3 weeks ago, and I want to be clear where the onus lies. The onus is not on Pennsylvania Avenue, it's on Capitol Hill. We have 3 decades worth of our Congress not passing immigration reform. And until they do that, until a president has the opportunity to either sign into law or veto something, the onus is on Capitol Hill. And so nobody wants raids. Nobody wants a raid to take place. What we have been assured is that if there is a raid, it's very targeted and limited in its scope. But what we need to make clear here is that if we don't want to see raids, we need Congress to call an emergency session. They need to come to an agreement, and they need to bring forth legislation that the president can sign into law. That would stop all of the raids. And I think we need to keep the pressure on Congress and tell them that they have to act. They use immigration reform to get elected into office, and then they ignore it the entire time they're in office until it's time for another election, and then we hear about it again. And we, the American people, have to say enough is enough. If you used immigration to be elected into the House or the Senate, then you must act, you must respond. And rather than continue to argue with the administration, we need to fix and correct this broken system once and for all.
Pastor Tony, it sounds like the White House is really signaling to Congress, with these raids that you need to act, trying to use them as a tool to get Congress's attention. Why do you oppose these raids, though? Because I know there's probably some in the U.S. who say, yeah, they need to be deported. They're here illegally.
I don't oppose raids that target undocumented immigrants that have been engaged in nefarious activity, gangbangers, drug trafficking, sex trafficking. The concern is when raids are on Sundays, when the media or certain members of the media are publicizing that they are far-ranging and that millions are at risk. That's when our concern, that's when we become concerned. That's why we have reached out in the first place, because the initial reports 3 weeks ago were that millions of people were going to be in danger, and it was happening on Sundays when the majority of our community is going to church. But that's not what the administration is saying is going to take place. If these raids do take place on Sunday, as they're at least in the moment it sounds like they're scheduled to, they're limited in scope. It's limited to about 2,000 people that entered in the last 4 years and have a deportation order. And again, if we want to see an end to the threat or the fear in our community, what needs to happen is that Congress and the Senate need to sit down and they need to put something on the president's desk. That in itself, that's the right response to seeing an end to the raids.
I know a lot of people are looking towards Congress. How are you advising people in your churches in regards to this weekend?
Well, we know that there's safety in the house of the Lord. It's a place to find sanctuary, and it's a place to find shalom. And so we encourage our parishioners, and we've told our pastors to continue to encourage their parishioners to come to the house of the Lord. Come to church, worship the Lord, stay in church, stay as long as you like on Sunday. And unless they are in this targeted group, there is nothing for anyone to fear. And I think we need to put an end to the fear, to those that elicit fear or spread this message of fear that tens of millions of people should hide in their homes on Sunday. That's not what the government, that's not what the administration is saying is going to take place.
All right, we are out of time, but Pastor Tony, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.